Jesus Christ, the second person of the Trinity, was not created by God the Father. He was begotten by God the Father. Okay? Now, this is where I might get myself in trouble with Father Bob now. I'm going to do my best. The heresy hand goes up there now. Okay, now the third point is even more prone to misinterpretation or to inadequate explanation. The third aspect of the definition of the Trinity is a mistake that we can make is we can slide into trying to understand the Trinity as God in three separate as in there's no union between them. Okay? They're done completely independently. Okay? Roles or functions. Okay? That the Father is the Creator, the Son is the Redeemer, and the Holy Spirit is God who inspires and speaks to our souls. Okay? I think a lot of us can get into that God the Father is the Creator. Okay? God the Son had no part in creation. We can start to think that. Okay? And quite a few devout, practicing, very good Christians may very well believe that. Okay? It is incorrect. Okay? Now, while it is true that we do associate one person of the Holy Trinity most strongly with the specific work of God, and it is true that each person of the Trinity performs a distinct role. Okay? Performs a distinct role in the works of God. Okay? It is very important to keep in mind that each person of the Trinity does nothing in isolation from the other person. Okay? That sentence makes sense. Yes. Okay. If you're fading, it's 8 o'clock and it's break time almost. Come back. It's a very important distinction. Okay. While we do associate one person of the Holy Trinity most strongly with the specific work of God, and it is true that each person of the Trinity performs a distinct role in the work of God, the works of God, it is very important to keep in mind each person of the Trinity does nothing in isolation. Okay? So what we mean by distinct role in the works of God, so for example, God the Son, Jesus Christ, He died on the cross. God the Father did not die on the cross. God the Holy Spirit did not die on the cross. Okay? But did God the Son die? Did He did He perform the salvific act in isolation from the other persons of the Trinity? No, He did not. Okay? He performed a distinct role, but He did not do that distinct role in isolation. Okay? And that's where I'm really poorly trying to explain this difference between separate and distinct. Okay? He did not do that separated from God the Father and God the Holy Spirit. He did it as a distinct person, but not as a separate, isolated person. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, got it? That's pretty good. There's no heresy hand has gone up there, so I'll keep going. No questions? No.
Yeah, let me try to make that a little bit clear. When we talk about the Trinity, we're talking about the nature of God, as we would say in Latin, ad intra. That is, in his very self. When we talk about things like redemption and creation and sanctification, these are attributes of what God does ad extra, to the outside of himself, i.e. God. And therefore, what we do is attribute one of those functions to one or the other of the persons, but it's done as God, and as the one God, not as separate beings. So it's not only God the Father who creates, but it's God who creates. It's not only the Son who died for us, but it's God who redeems us as God. And it's not only the Trinity that dwells within us, or the Spirit that dwells within us and sanctifies us. It's God who sanctifies us. So the distinction between the work of God ad intra And the work of God ad extra is a very important thing to keep in mind in understanding what we do when we attribute things to God and what we do when we are talking about God in himself. So a few years ago, I don't know if you heard about this, but in a time when the feminist critique...
Oh, that's part of my talk. Don't throw my fire.
Okay. I'll shut up. I'll shut up. We'll come to that later.
And I stole it from you.
Huh?
And I just stole it from you, too.
No, that's...
I did that part of my talk. I just took it from God.
Just using good, tight theological reasoning.
But it's what Father Bob was about to say is critical to, again, the last thing I'm going to discuss, which is the relationship between the person. And it's a hugely important aspect. And the story Father Bob was going to tell you, which is, I just took it from him, I heard it from him, is kind of is essential to that as well, too. But we'll get to that shortly. So, okay, so just to finish up briefly on this, the other two, the clearly established with the Trinity is not as well too. And to try to hammer out exactly what we mean by the Trinity as well. We'll wrap that up real quick and take a break. So again, so God always, okay, always has been and is now a perfect unity of persons. Okay, and this perfect unity is also relevant to the works of God as well too. It's exactly what Father Baptist said. Okay. That unity does not end, is not removed from the works of God. Okay. So in other words, you know, when God the Father didn't create the world, while God the Son and God the Holy Spirit were playing God or something. So nothing. But that work, God the Father clearly played a very distinct role in that work, but that work was done in unity with the fullness of God, all persons. Okay. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, brief sentence puts it very, very briefly. Each divine person performs the common work according to his unique personal property. This is the Catechism attempt to clearly state this idea as well too. Okay. I've got a few references from the Catechism there as well too. I won't read those right now. We can wrap up the first part of the talk. In the last portion, I'll go ahead and just mention it here as well too. This last aspect, again, this last role of our reason in coming to grips with the doctrine of the Trinity. Connect this doctrine with other teachings and practices of the Church, and we are not going to talk about that. Okay? It's way, way, way too broad of a topic to discuss. We can go on. You could have a semester in college discussing how the doctrine of the Trinity is connected with the rest of the faith. Okay? I'll just note that we invoke the name of the Trinity at the beginning of nearly every prayer in the Catholic Church. Okay? We begin nearly every prayer in the Catholic Church in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Okay? It imbues everything within the Church. Okay? And also, if we did that, if we ever did that, you know, the 5-year-old kid game of why, you keep going. If you did that with pretty much any teaching of the Church, you'd eventually end up back with the whole teaching of the Holy Trinity. Okay? And we will stop there.